And it got to the point where I was taking, like, my connection with the mushrooms is so deep. Like, I dream about mushrooms.
Wow.
It's crazy. But I can find stuff when people will walk right by it, and I'll just lift a leaf up, and I'm like, oh, there's a porcini.
Wow.
Oh, on that log, on the backside of that log, the whole backside is lion's mane, or the whole backside is oyster mushrooms.
Wow.
So I've accepted my connection with the mushrooms, and it got to the point where people that were coming out with me, just as my homies, my friends, cousins, whatever, they were giving me cash. They're like, dude, what you're doing is freaking incredible, dude. Here's some money. I'm like, no, it's good. No, I want to give you. No.
Yeah,
we had those goofy moments. But
Yeah.
it got to the point where I had so many people that I was taking out with me just for fun. They're like, dude, you need to turn this into an opportunity, because right now is your time to shine. Do what you do.
So you said two things. The way you start your day. They always say the way you start your day is the most important thing.
It's everything.
That's how your whole day is going to go, right?
And I make my bed.
Exactly.
Nice.
I do that too.
Yeah,
and people think that's such a small thing. No, it's not, right?
It's huge.
Small victory, you start your day, right? The other thing is too, most people start their day touching their cell phone.
Yes.
It's like walking to a casino the minute you start your day.
Thank you.
So you're like responsive. You're like, maybe it's a bad message or whatever. And I try my best to not touch my phone for at least 30 minutes. I've been kind of slacking off a lot lately because I got into stocks and stuff like that, you know?
Bitcoin.
Yeah, Bitcoin. I just, fucking dummy.
That's why you don't respond to
I had Bitcoin at 23,000 recently, and then I sold it.
What?
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Anyways, I didn't want to talk about that. But it's going to go to 150 and all that
course
anyway.
it is.
It's just beginning, right? I'm not an expert, but you should look into crypto, right?
Yes, indeed.
Yeah. And, but, you know, the way you start your day is important. And most of us start a day with our cell phone, our problems, our anxieties.
Yes.
And then
unresolved issues from the night before.
There you go. Right. So that's not a good thing, but you start with gratitude.
Yes.
So that's powerful.
Yes.
So one way, I guess, that you're saying is to balance everything is regardless of where you're at in life, just start with gratitude for whatever you got.
Correct.
Right.
Correct.
And the other thing is meditation. I've always had an issue with meditation because I can't do it. My brain is just too wild.
Yeah.
Like it just goes all over. I mean, can you talk about meditation? Like what kind of meditation do you do? Like are you good at it, or does it take time?
I think I'm good at it. I think I'm good at it.
If you believe it, then it's true.
Absolutely.
Right? Your truth is what you believe.
Absolutely.
Right? Yeah.
So one of my elders taught me a trick. He taught me the candle staring technique.
Candle staring. Okay.
Which basically you start early before the sun is up. You get a little plate or a saucer. You put a candle, little tea candle right in the middle of the plate. You sit somewhere comfortable and you just stare at the flame. And over time, I love it.
We're going to do it.
I love it. I love it. You guys
Okay.
are like, notes.
Yeah.
Hey, we're here to learn too. Right?
Absolutely,
Yeah.
brother.
Yeah.
Absolutely, man. So that was my segue into being able to do deeper meditations.
Okay.
And that one, you don't need much time. You need maybe 5 minutes, and you'll start to notice after time, your time lengths will get longer and longer and longer, and then you'll start to actually notice that flame is speaking to you.
Wow.
And moving based off of your thought process.
Grandfather fire.
Yes,
right?
absolutely. So we think we know everything about the metaphysical or the physical, and that physical is everything, metaphysical is everything.
Yeah.
You know? So that is what I do. And meditation, there's also a lot of misconceptions with regard to meditation. People think that to meditate that you have to be sitting down in a cave somewhere or you have to spend like a ridiculous amount of time meditating. It's not true. You can literally meditate for 5-10 seconds. It's these moments of clarity or these moments of emptiness in your mind that can bring you the real clarity.
So just stillness of the mind, basically.
Stillness, yeah.
So it's trying to get to a point where you're basically not thinking about anything and letting.
But you're always going to think about something.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Don't feel bad.
Yeah,
I would do it too.
I'm always thinking about something. Yeah.
I have a noisy mind too, but
it's just stillness.
But again,
basically.
even with all the noise, as long as you're able to find clarity, even in those thoughts,
Okay.
that's part of the meditation.
Okay.
So it's not about you not thinking about anything. You're always going to think about something. We have the
Okay,
biggest,
good.
we have the best computer ever made
Right.
right here.
Right. Yeah.
You know, so don't feel bad about that. You're not doing it wrong. There's no wrong way to do meditation
Yeah.
at all.
So, meditation, spirituality, I want to go deeper into that because obviously we're descendants of Native Americans.
Correct.
And then whatever conquistador came and raped our ancestors, right? Which is why I kind of look light, maybe you look light as well too,
Yeah.
right? Because if we were a true Native, we'd be different looking, right?
Yes.
And obviously Filipinos are also part of natives and whatever.
The Spaniards.
We're
took
both
over.
conquered by the Spaniards,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
That's why we have Spanish last names.
I have a Spanish middle name.
Yeah. And I tell people, Spanish is not a Mexican language.
No.
That's a conquistador language.
Yeah.
That's the Espanol, right? Like if we were speaking our native language, it would be like Aztec, Inca,
Nahuatl,
whatever, right? My name would be like Huatemoc, or we'd be living in Teotihuacan, right? All this kind of stuff. Anyways, I digress, right? My point to that is, have you watched that special with John Leguizamo about the history of Latinos and all that? So
And
that blew my mind.
And he talks about Howard Zinn People's History of America.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, yeah. I've read that book.
So the Native American genocide is the biggest genocide in the history of our world. 70 million Native Americans went down to about 5 million, right? So 65 million Native Americans were wiped out within a couple years, right? However, when the Spaniards, the French, whoever it was came, they saw natives they labeled us as savages because we spoke differently. We had different rituals. We maybe used ayahuasca. Right? We maybe meditated. Our gods were like nature and all that kind of stuff. So they demonized us. They said, you conform to our religion or you die. Made friends with us, stole our land, all that kind of stuff. So do you think spirituality, plant medicine is somewhat inherent to us because of that? If you are part Native American?
Yes, I do. I know that the only reason that any of us people of color have any history with regard to who we really were is through word of mouth.
Right.
These are spoken traditions that were passed along when you could be murdered for speaking Nahuatl, or you could be murdered for speaking whatever dialect from the Philippines that was native to that land. You could be killed for that. So our ancestors did what they could to keep this alive. I think it's the same way with the medicines.
Right.
These traditions were kept in secret for so long, and now that they're coming to light, this is indicative of the age of Aquarius.
Right.
I believe they're coming to save us, and they've been saving us.
Absolutely.
Like nature is here for us.
Absolutely.
If you're ready, once you're ready to receive it, they're there.
Yes. Yes, and it is us.
And you talked about past lives earlier, right? Talk about that a bit more, because I've always been blessed with deep intuition. Like I can figure things out real fast, sense things real fast. I know I have some issues or whatever, and it's probably because of past lives, right? So can you talk about that? Like, how does past lives affect us in our present lives? And how does the medicine and stuff help us, learn or
Navigate this life.
Make sense of it all, right?
Yeah.
So past lives, in my experience, there's a lot of things that I know, that I absolutely know, and I don't know how I know them.
Right.
All of us do.
Like deja vu and stuff like that.
Not just that. I'm talking like skill sets
Okay.
that I never even knew I had. I mean, I'm talking like medical procedures.
Wow.
I'm like, how the fuck do I know this?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah. You're like, I must have been a doctor in a past life.
potentially,
Yeah.
But I think that these past lives, I know we're eternal. We are eternal.
Yeah.
The energy just never ends with us. That's why that movie Soul, if you've seen it,
What is it?
it's called Soul. It's a Disney movie, which was shocking. I'm not a big fan.
Disney movie?
I'm not a big fan of Disney because
Soul?
they have a lot of racism and a lot of
Right.
undertones in their movies. But this movie is a recent movie, and it is incredible. Incredible.
Like
The-
SOUL?
Yes.
Okay.
And they speak about past lives and about how souls transition from this life to the next life. It's incredible. So watching this movie, I was like, bing, 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 like this, just all these bells were ringing off for me. And then my youngest was watching this with me. We ended up watching it twice, and his reaction to the part where they're leaving the spirit world to go back into another body, he did looked at me, looked at the TV, and he smiled.
The youngest,
my youngest,
the 4-year-old,
because he's closer to source than we are.
Yeah.
That's awesome. So he got it.
He understood it like perfectly. And it just reaffirmed my understanding of past lives. Now, past lives, they do affect us in everything that we do. So it is our it's our part of our purpose to figure out what these things were and why we have these fears. Some people have fear of water, some people have fear of height, and they don't know why they have it.
For me, it's spiders and sharks and being average.
And being a nobody. But you are somebody.
Right.
And sharks and spiders. And sharks and spiders, they're all part of this.
Set an intention that you love them.
That's
so
right.
You can get in a boat, Isaac.
No, hell no. I watched Jaws too young at an age, right?
So did I.
Yeah, that was bad.
Oh, man.
I don't know how the heck we watched all these movies like in the 80s and stuff. And
Young,
we're okay.
too.
You know what I mean?
Young.
Freddy Krueger, Jason.
My babysitter was notorious for like, we're just going to watch Friday the 13th. I'm like 4 years old. No biggie. Good times.
Adventurous.
That's crazy.
Yeah. But, again, once you really learn, once you really understand all these different facets of your personal experience in this body, and you do medicine and you're able to see glimpses of your past lives, everything starts to make sense.
That's awesome.
Everything starts to kind of just lay itself out, and you're like, oh my God, that makes sense. Yes, I get it. So getting in touch with your inner gifts that you have no idea why you have them, that's a good practice.
Yeah.
To get in touch with that side of you.
Yeah. So you made me think of something because it helped me deal with death. So we are spiritual beings having a human experience.
Yes.
We're only here for a finite amount of time.
Right.
The reason I'm vegan is because I want to be a good and the longer than it has than it needs to be.
Sir.
I mean, not
Yes,
longer than it
sir.
needs to be, as long as possible, right?
Yes.
I don't want to shorten it, right? However, it's kind of ridiculous to think that we just die and that's it. You know what I mean? The earth suit dies,
Right.
but the spirit, which is happy, it's eternal.
Yes.
It leaves, and then all the trauma and everything is stuck in our physical earth suit.
Right.
So obviously it's very sad when loved ones pass away, right? But understanding that they're not gone, they're just not in that suit anymore.
That's right.
And they're not suffering anymore. And when we're sad, it's just about us. It's not about them because they're not feeling pain. They don't even know. Their spirit's like, wee, I'm out,
Yes,
right?
indeed.
Until they go right back into like the movie, maybe the next journey, right? So it kind of helped me deal with death a little bit more, right? Because I understand. And, I think even dogs and stuff like that, they have souls and spirits,
Absolutely.
because I mean, what other animal just like you could do whatever you want to the darn dog and it still loves you no matter what, right? And it's almost weird. Like I've had this dog for 17 plus years and I feel like she communicates with me like in a way, right? So I know, she probably doesn't have much longer, but I'm okay. I'm okay with it.
Yes.
I know it's going to be a sad moment, right?
Sure.
But I'm okay with it. So understanding past lives and future lives and spirits and it helped me deal with death. So if anybody's dealing with a loss of a loved one, or hopefully that can maybe help you, because I always tell people that I share that with people that have lost somebody, and it helps them. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
And that person is the energy is still around you, right? They're still there. And the other thing about nature, once our earth suit is gone, we feed the earth again. It's like a big circle, right?
Yes.
Like they say that the salmon, when they come upstream, they spawn, and then some of them go out of the water and literally like kill themselves.
Yeah.
They die, and then they feed the trees, and the trees go around.
Wait, what? The salmon?
Yeah, the salmon.
The fish?
Yeah. So when they do the spawning yearly, like they'll mate, and then some of them will jump out and almost like kill themselves, but they're to feed the trees and all the nature around. which is nuts. I've never heard of that.
All
but
connected.
yeah, it's all connected. Is my
Wow.
point, right?
But unfortunately, humans like to put ourselves in caskets with silk lining and all this other craziness.
Ego.
And it's like, yeah, man,
Yeah.
I don't want that.
You know, my vision. Sorry, Joe.
Yeah,
One of my
go
dreams
ahead.
is that in the future cemeteries become forests.
Yes.
Imagine if you feed a tree, and well, it's not going to be your soul or anything, but it's going
Right.
to be your genetic material.
Yes.
But imagine if all cemeteries became forests. Like, how much better would that be for the earth,
Man.
for everything, right?
The energy will be nice.
Yeah. And you know, trees are forever. Like you've been on hikes, I'm sure. Seen redwoods that are hundreds of years old.
Thousands.
Like thousands of years old. Like these trees have been around for a lot longer than we will ever be around, right? But imagine if your like that's your legacy, right? Of your earth suit becomes a tree, a redwood that lasts for
Yes.
thousands of years. That's eternal on this earth, right?
It's amazing.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
that's one of my. I don't know how I'm gonna do it. Mr. Beast planted 20 million trees. Yeah.
Hey, you already put it out there in the universe,
Yeah.
so
I want to move the needle to turn cemeteries into forests in the future. So
yeah.
I love it.
It's
love
fun because for some reason I've been having visions being in the dirt.
Okay.
I don't know if I'm getting buried under the dirt and like under this tree. Like I don't want to be in a casket, like you said. You know, for some reason, maybe I just miss being in the mountains.
Yeah.
But like being in the dirt, like I'm under, like in the dirt, it's on top of me. But obviously, I can breathe. I've been having that visions lately. Now
That's
that we're
a
having
good
this
one.
conversation,
Yeah.
it's like maybe that's how I want to, you know, end my life. You know, whatever.
Yeah, I already told the fam, like when I go, grab a couple of the guys, dig a hole at the base of a redwood, throw me in, sprinkle me with some lye, cover me up, I'm good.
there you go.
I'm good.
Yeah.
Feed me to the planet.
Yeah.
'Cause
Oh, yeah.
I don't want a box. I don't need that. You know, the earth needs me more than the box needs me.
It's funny because you never think about it because
Of course.
the caskets and all that comes from being it's cultural. You know, it's
crazy.
conditioning.
It's crazy.
We don't even think about it, right? But if you really think about it, it's like you're not coming back. You're gonna basically rot. You know what I mean? And
And
instead
you're
of
prolonging this process
Yeah, exactly,
by embalming
right?
your body and all kinds of craziness.
like
man. It's
even
foolish.
mummies that are hundreds of years old. Like, okay, well, you mummified yourself when
Right.
they found you, but
Now what?
yeah, exactly, right?
Cool. You still
Yeah.
your skull still has the hair.
Yeah,
Cool.
yeah. Anyways, I mean, I don't know. What do you guys think? Would you like cemeteries to become forests in the future? I don't know. Tell us about it. Leave us in the comments. So, but yeah. So I mean, the whole spiritual realm helped me deal with death. Helped me deal with a lot of things, right? And then also to. You wanted to say something, Joe, before I go to the next topic, or are you good?
No.
Okay. So I wanted to go back to vegan food, right?
Yeah.
Because I know you have your own vegan business,
Yes.
right? And, you know, I believe more people would be vegan if they knew the truth. And I think the biggest thing is that people feel like they're going to lose their culture. They're going to lose enjoyment. It's not going to taste the same, which is all a big lie too,
Yes, it is.
because it's just substituting, right? So another one of my missions is to teach people of almost every culture that you can still have the same food, you can still have the same enjoyment. Okay, you can still have the same enjoyment. It's just a matter of substituting, right? Instead
Correct.
of milk that comes from cows, actually milk comes from mothers, not cows, by the way,
yes. Yes.
because your mom produced milk, the chi-chi milk that you drank when you were little, right? Cows produce milk for calves, right? Goats produce milk for little goats. So milk comes from mothers. So instead of having mother's milk, you have plant milk, right? Instead of having butter that comes from pigs, you have vegan butter. Instead of having, meat, there's seitan, there's tofu. There's all kinds of substitutes,
Yes.
right?
A lot.
And it's not just necessarily about the meat, because I say, I love my meat. Really? Okay, eat that meat with no seasoning and
Raw.
just roll raw. You wouldn't be able to do that. You'd probably kill yourself, get sick, right? Number one, which should tell you something, because if you eat a broccoli raw, you're not going to die.
You're gonna be fine.
Yeah, you'll be fine, right? But if you eat a piece of chicken raw, you're going to get salmonella and you're going to be dead, right? Or you're going to get parasites, which should tell you something. The earth is telling you you're not supposed to do that,
Right.
right? But let's just say you cooked it, but you didn't spice it up. You didn't put all those seasonings. You didn't put the olive oil. You just basically baked it or fried it or whatever, and now eat that chicken, eat that steak. It's not going to be the same enjoyable
Not at all.
meal that you would. So it's not necessarily the meat.
It's about seasoning.
Yeah, it's seasoning.
It's all about
it's the way it's
seasoning.
prepared. It's all that kind of stuff, right?
It's like being filtered, right?
Yeah.
Right,
Yeah.
right, exactly.
Filter. You can't take the original. You just have to filter it.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So talk about your vegan business, your journey
Sure.
on that.
So I have a business called Comiendo Verde, and it focuses on a lot of traditional Mexican fare, but just with that vegan spin.
Right.
A lot of these recipes I received from my grandmother before she passed, God rest her soul.
That's awesome.
But you know, that good feeling of watching her make handmade tortillas when I was little and seeing her make miracles to feed 12 plus children, all her 6 children when they got home from work,
Wow.
and herself with a package of whatever she had and some beans and some rice, and there was handmade tortillas every day. It was incredible, and
Yeah.
that inspired me to want to cook when I was younger. And then as I went on in life, the urge to cook for a lot of people became more prevalent in my life, and I catered more than a few parties, family events for my family, and they were like, "Dude, you got it. You got it. You need. What are you doing?" So I took some classes, some culinary classes, and really started finding myself. And then once I took ayahuasca and was like, "Okay, I'm done with animals," then I was like, "Okay, the gloves need to come off, and I need to be as creative as I want,
Right.
and as creative as I need to be." And I've been doing that ever since.
So what are some of your specialties now?
Pozole.
Pozole.
Pozole is
Yeah.
I do a green and a red.
Ah.
And then
So that just tells you pozole is not the chicken or whatever's inside of
no.
it. It's the soup. It's the base. It's the broth. It's how it's prepared, right?
it's those oyster mushrooms that I pull out of the woods.
Oh man, I
Really?
bet you those are. Man, I would love to try something you pulled straight out the woods. That's like organic as you can get.
It doesn't get any better, man.
Yeah, that's
and lion's mane and all that good stuff.
Lion's
yeah.
mane.
Wow.
It's
Oh,
good
yeah.
for the brain, nerve
Oh
support.
yes. Mm-hmm.
You guys have only had vegan pozoles
Oh man.
ever.
Yeah.
Before I wasn't vegan, I never had pozole, but now like I love pozole.
It's the bomb.
Yeah.
It's the bomb.
It's healing.
Yes.
You know, one thing I appreciate is tortas were always my favorite Mexican food,
Oh dude.
and
Is
California vegan food.
Is that with eggs and
No,
eggplant before?
No, torta is just the bread. It's like a sandwich,
Sandwich.
basically.
Oh, it's a
Sandwich.
bread.
It's a sandwich, but it
Oh.
has a very specific type of bread, but it used to be
Yes.
like ham and
Okay.
mayonnaise,
All kinds of
stuff, right?
Craziness.
And so, like when I went vegan, I was like, "Oh man, no more al pastor, no more tortas," right? Thinking about it, but now it's like it's not the meat. Like you substitute. So I went to the farmers market with California vegan food, and Rosa, they have some
Yes.
tortas. Oh my god! I had
Shout
the
out
mu-
to California Vegan
yeah,
Food Company.
California
Rosa.
vegan food, Rosa. A mushroom torta. Like I didn't even want to try the faux meats, right? I said, let me try the mushrooms, right? Because I love mushrooms. Mushrooms, and like you said, if you get the right ones, they taste like meat. They have the consistency of meat. It's basically nature's meat, right? Along with jackfruit and other stuff, right?
Yeah.
But anyways, I tried the mushroom torta with. Oh my God! I was like in heaven. I was
Stop
like,
playing.
Oh
It got
man,
real
yeah.
for you.
Yeah,
Real
it got
quick.
real quick, right? So I was like, dang. I don't have to miss out on my traditional food. And then Vegan Veganos, shout out to Manuel and Delina.
Shout out
right?
to Manuel
Hello.
Delina.
Yeah, they were on the podcast recently. I can have my al pastor. They make some really good street
Yes, they do.
tacos. Al pastor. I was like, dang. So, your specialties pozole.
Pozole,
Anything else?
ceviche,
Ceviche.
aguachile.
Aguachiles.
What's aguachile?
Yes, aguachile is traditionally a dish that's made with shrimp. It's like a green sauce with cucumber seeds and lime and cilantro and all this good stuff. But I do it with hearts of palm. And the hearts of palm actually have a bit of a fishy taste, so they work extremely well. And I sell out whenever I make that and do a pop up. The ceviche and aguachile, it sells out.
I'm already getting
Let us
hungry, man.
know about your pop up.
Absolutely,
Sure.
absolutely.
Yeah. So, and then again, you can be vegan and be unhealthy if you're eating
Yes.
so I want to make that a point, right?
Yes.
Because people go, "Oh, I was vegan and it didn't work." Well, number one, you probably were eating all the processed food. Yeah, that's like
Yeah.
me being on the standard American diet, aka SAD diet, and eating fast food and all this processed.
Takis
Yeah,
and-
yeah.
It's
So,
vegan.
Yeah, so we're talking about a whole foods plant-based. Like,
Yes.
Yeah.
I appreciate that you use hearts of palm instead of like
Yes.
faux meat, because hearts of palm is whole foods.
Yes.
Wait, what?
Right?
What is that? What, for anyone who doesn't know,
So
please explain.
hearts of palm is literally the heart of a baby palm tree. So they
Oh.
cut these trees at a very young age, and they take the base, the center of it out, and they cut it up, and it's a catch-22. I mean, I don't like that they cut down these baby palm
Right.
trees. It kills my heart, but at the same time, I'm like, God, it's so delicious.
Yeah, it's like
And they'll regrow.
yeah,
So
yeah. And I mean, anyways, they can just plant more trees, right? Like
Exactly.
they're not really taking a life. There's no nervous system in there. They don't not feeling pain, right? But yeah, I mean,
well, other thing before we move on, being vegan, I ate a lot of processed food because I just became vegan in February. Holy crap, a year ago.
wow, congratulations.
congratulations, yeah.
Definitely be patient with yourself. Like, don't
Yes.
eat Oreo cookies every
Yeah.
single
Just
week
because they're vegan.
vegan. And
Man.
French fries too. They're deep fried.
Yes.
Doesn't mean just because they're vegan doesn't mean you can eat them every other day or whatever.
Right.
Educate
Conscious.
yourself and like the B vitamins what you're gonna be deficient in. That's huge.
Yeah, that's
Yes.
a great point. Thank you for saying that, because
B12.
B12 is something you need to supplement as
Yes.
a plant-based vegan person, right? And it doesn't come from meat or animals. It comes from dirt. It's like microorganisms in dirt. So the
Yes.
reason you get it from animals, because animals eat vegetables and dirt, and it goes into their body,
Yeah.
and then we get it through their meat because they got it from dirt. So instead of getting it through an animal, which comes with saturated fat and all this other stuff, trauma and all that, why don't you just get it from the source and get a supplement, right?
Right.
And just get some B12, right? Or nutritional yeast, which is a good source of B12, right?
Yes, it is.
So, so you have your vegan business, and you're right now it's on hold, but you're gonna bring it back.
So yeah, so the company is on hiatus right now because there's a lot of issues with COVID, and I just really didn't want to deal with all the back end stuff because
Right.
I was literally running this thing solo.
Getcha.
Built a team and got some people, but it's really hard when you own a business like that. It's really hard to find help that wants to be part of your vision or has
I
the
understand.
has the same push and drive for your vision as you do. It's just not gonna happen.
You're preaching to the
very-
choir, my friend. yeah,
Right,
I can,
right.
Yeah.
So I still have all my licensing and all that, but I'm just putting it on the back burner. I really want to focus on the Shroomy Walkabouts right now because A, it's the season. B, the climate that we're in currently with the human race needs this healing.
Okay. So it's a
We
pivot.
need to be in nature and we need to get back to source.
Thank you.
So
Love
you're
that.
just pivoting, right?
Yes, just pivoting.
You're just
yeah.
pivoting, right? I always say, I learned this from a previous mentor. We don't panic, we pivot,
Hey,
right?
I love
you know
it.
what I mean? And this whole pandemic, yes, I know a lot of people are suffering, and we feel bad for those, but it's also an opportunity
Yeah.
yes,
if you treat it that way, right?
absolutely.
When it all went down, I had to speak in front of a national Zoom for about 5,000 agents from all the company, and I really wanted to give them something good, right? And this was like right when it happened. It was in March, and I prayed. I said, God, why is this happening? Like, give me something to tell the people. And this is what came to me. He said, I put life on pause so that you can reevaluate every part of your life,
sir.
your faith, your family, your business, your finances, your fitness. And if you're doing the right thing, you better go hard. If you're not doing the right thing, this is your chance to make a change.
That's right.
Because when I put life back on play, if you didn't make that change, you're going to miss the opportunity, right? Because life's going to go back on play.
That's right.
Eventually, who knows if it's this year or whatever, but life is going to go back to normal.
Right.
And if you didn't make those changes if you realize that, most people are realizing that their job is not safe and it's not secure, right? A lot of people never got to spend time with their family, or they were too busy to, right? Now they're by force or by luck or whatever you want to call it, they're
Right.
spending more time with their family. They're getting more into fitness. They're building gyms in their yard, right?
Starting businesses.
They're
businesses.
meditating.
Yeah.
Meditating.
They're finding their side hustle, their
Yes.
purpose, right?
Yes.
So yes, it was a bad thing. Yes, we lost a lot of lives, and but you can also turn a negative into a positive, or an adversity into an opportunity.
Yes, sir.
So, and that's where this whole podcast came out of, right?
I love it.
So, yeah, guys, that's the same pivot you made.
Absolutely.
Right. So talk about the Shroomy Walkabouts.
Oh,
right?
hold on. Let me add something to that real quick.
Okay.
Like when you said about opportunity, like this year, I was still working. I actually never stopped working. But then a lot of things I wanted to do, I couldn't do. Like, but I'm a photographer too, so I couldn't go to like a live show, any events out there, take photos. So I had to shift and pivot, right? And like, okay, what else can I do during this time? Oh, I'm gonna start meditating, because a lot of people are very fearful and a lot of anxieties around me. I want to feel good.
Yes.
So I started meditating a lot this year. I started thinking of creative ways of what else I can do, right? Like read books and stuff like that. My credit score got higher because
Love it.
Awesome. Yeah, me
it's
too.
one of the great things about, and it's continues
Start paying those bills on
Yeah.
time. Like, all
like
right, I got
my
the money now.
finances got even better. It's like when things just slow down, clarity is right there. I spent so much time in nature. I'm in love with nature. I can't go like a single month not being with nature.
I love it.
The other thing is like having faith, right? Things will always get better. Having faith. And also the other thing was like, I set an intention out there to the universe, like, please give me something to just keep on going and keep like being excited and feeling alive.
Yes.
With the ayahuasca, with the bliss seekers, attracting that in my life, like it definitely helped me have a purpose to keep going.
That's
I love it.
Yeah.
I love
Yeah.
it. Thank you for sharing.
Yeah, that's awesome.
I'm sweating.
Yeah.
And like when you
Fired
talk,
up.
you're like,
Yeah.
so
It's
passionate.
energy though.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And
Yeah.
we're all connecting like the energy. I mean,
We're all
you think it's just
persons.
air, but it's energy, right?
We're all persons, and the word person means persona
Yeah.
through sound.
Or maybe it's just all the hot air that's coming out.
That's part of it. I mean, that could be part of it.
Just kidding. Not
Whenever I
really.
get passionate, I'm just like,
Yeah.
Oh,
I
absolutely.
feel the
But you're
heat.
speaking with
Yeah.
your heart.
Yeah.
And you're
Thank
speaking
you.
your truth, and I appreciate you.
Yeah.
Thank
Thank
you.
By the way, guys out there, man, if you're not in the studio, but if you're here, it's warm. Like it gets fired up in here, right? Yeah.
Yes, it does.
And
Yes, it
don't
does.
forget, if you like this podcast, make sure you subscribe. Make sure you hit that like button. But anyway, so Shroomy Walkabouts, where's that headed? Or what's the vision? How'd that start?
So that started literally from my love for mushrooms and going on foraging and taking 1, 2, 3 people with me at a time, and it got to the point where I was taking like my connection with the mushrooms is so deep. Like I dream about mushrooms.
Wow.
It's crazy. But I can find stuff when people will walk right by it, and I'll just lift a leaf up, and I'm like, oh, there's a porcini.
Wow.
Oh, on that log, on the backside of that log, the whole backside is lion's mane, or the whole backside is oyster mushrooms.
Wow.
So I've accepted my connection with the mushrooms, and it got to the point where people that were coming out with me, just as my homies, my friends, cousins, whatever,
Right.
they were giving me cash. They're like, dude, what you're doing is freaking incredible, dude. Here's some money. I'm like, no, it's good. No, I want to give you. No.
Yeah,
We
yeah.
had those goofy moments. But,
Yeah.
but it got to the point where I had so many people that I was taking out with me just for fun. They're like, dude, you need to turn this into an opportunity,
Right.
because right now is your time to shine. Do what you do.
And there's no harm in accepting money for
No.
providing value.
Exactly.
The
A valuable
universe
service. Yes.
pays you in direct reflection to the value that you provide.
Thank you.
And there's no other reason than this is your purpose, that you can just sit there and find mushroom. Like, who does that? You know what I mean? You're like the mushroom whisperer or something.
Yeah.
I hear that a lot.
Yeah,
I hear that
yeah.
a lot. But I love doing it,
That's
and
awesome.
and the fact that people trust me
Yeah.
and pay me money, and like you said, that physical payment, that reimbursement is a direct reflection of my karmic
Yeah.
payment.
Yeah.
The stuff that I'm putting out in the world, and the love that I put and the attention that I put towards people while they're on these walkabouts with me is it's bar none. I love people. I love talking to people. I love sharing knowledge, and we go out and find some great stuff.
That's how we met.
I'm
too.
excited, man. I can't wait.
Right?
But by the way, so you know who Gary Vee is?
Yes.
Okay. So Gary Vee has a quote.
Yeah.
He says, "It's not how much money you make, but how you make your money."
Yes.
I never understood it. I was like, what are you talking about, Gary Vee? And then I finally understood it. Because if you're making money doing something you love, there's no substitute for that.
Not at all.
Even if it's less than somebody else who's making maybe billions and you're making maybe whatever, but they're not fulfilled. I mean, there's billionaires that commit suicide.
I know it.
Why is that? There's some deep, they're not fulfilled, right?
Not at all.
So if you chase your purpose and your passions, the money's going to follow you.
Absolutely.
Because money is energy.
Absolutely.
By the way, you should stop saying money and start saying energy.
Yes.
Because the more you can attract, it's like attracting more energy. And by the way, nowadays money's just freaking digits on a thing. It's not even cash anymore. They're trying to get rid of cash.
I know. And there's no gold to back up the
there's
dollar.
no going back.
Let's not even talk about it.
That's another podcast,
yes,
right?
Yes, whole nother one.
Yeah.
Well,
Invite
also-
me for that one.
Yeah.
Also, you can say like, I love money. Money loves me.
Yeah.
The other thing I want to share with you guys, I forgot where I heard it from, but billionaires, they seek the monks. It's not the other way around.
Yes.
Yeah, the
That's
monks
right.
will never seek a billionaire for what?
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Right.
I
That's
heard
a good
that somewhere,
point.
but yeah,
That's a
it's
good
beautiful.
point. You know, and here's something that I tell. So, you know, I have a history of working with at-risk youth. I ran a couple of programs for at-risk youth in the east side of San Jose and for quite some time. And something I would always tell them was, life is what you make it. And never look past an opportunity. There's an opportunity in every single thing that you do to be better or worse. Everything that happens to you, it happens for you, not to you.
Right.
So accept that, you know. And another thing is, you look at all the bigwigs, you know, Apple, Steve Jobs, Larry Ellison, Oracle, Bill Gates, right? Those guys did minimal college. Minimal.
Oh, yeah. A lot of them are dropouts.
Oh, yeah. So Larry Ellison did like a semester and he's like, I'm done.
Yeah.
I'm done. And he's a billionaire. So what he did was he chased his dreams.
Yeah.
He chased his dreams. He wasn't chasing the average everyday, what your parents are telling you, you need to get this and this and this. You have to have this by this age. My mother is a, God bless her. Shout out to you, Mom, if you ever watch this.
She will.
Not exactly.
Yeah.
She was big on most men your age. That was
Wow.
you know, that was the big one. Most
comparison,
men your,
yeah.
Yes, most men your age.
Yeah.
Boom, A, B, C, D, all the way down the line. I'm like, Mom, not most men.
Oh, I love it. Yes.
And none of that means anything to me.
Right.
It's all borrowed. If you own a house, it's borrowed.
Right.
You know, when you pass on, you're giving that debt to your family. You know, they have to pay taxes on whatever that is. And if they don't, they lose it. And who gets it? The bank.
Right.
The bank's always owned it. So you don't own anything. We don't own anything. It's all borrowed. So understand that and chase your dreams. Don't chase anything else. Chase your dreams and go for it.
Yeah. So you mentioned something, and I'm not against school,
I'm not either.
but I don't really think the system the way it is now it helps people. Like most of them come out super in debt. They don't get a career in what they studied. Most of them don't even like what they studied. They're just doing it to please their parents, right?
Or because there's money in it.
Yeah. So called money, right?
Right.
So you mentioned billionaires, right?
Yes.
50 Cent has a quote that I love. He said, "I never went to Harvard, but everybody that works for me did." And he's a billionaire, right? So they say A students make great employees for C students.
Yay.
Again,
I love it.
I'm not trying to offend any smart students out there. Don't get me wrong. But if you took offense, okay, sorry. But it's true. The school system teaches you how to be an employee.
Yes.
If you're an entrepreneur, which was what I've been pretty much my whole life, I had a job only for about 3 years of my entire life, and then I hated it, right? You don't fit into the school system. You don't fit
Not
into
at
the
all.
mold, right? You question everything. You're a leader. You have vision. You have dreams. You want to do different things. I mean, there's nothing wrong with the job either. Don't get me wrong. But I don't know what it was. Ever since I was little, I was always questioning authority. I got fired and rehired from 2 jobs at the same time because I told my managers off, you know, because I was smarter than them. And I worked for 3 years and I have not had a job since 2006. So it's all part of the matrix, basically.
Yes.
It's part of turning you into a sheep to
Yep.
follow, to be again, nothing wrong with employee, but I'm not gonna use that word. Let's just say to be part of the system, right? But if you want to break out of it, and again, being an entrepreneur, that's scary too, right?
Yes, it is.
Like there's no guarantees. Nope. It's all up to you, right? It takes extreme self-confidence. It takes being able to deal with a lot of things. It takes mental toughness, right? And most people don't have that, and it's not their fault. They were indoctrinated, right? But anyways, I just wanted to mention that because, and it's not our parents' fault. Like I heard it too. You know what I mean? Right. They just wanted the best for us, and that's what they thought worked, right? Yeah. That's maybe what worked in their generation. Right. Didn't work in our generation, and it's definitely not working for the new generations. Right. So, anyways, we digress. right.
Yeah. Well, another thing I want to add to that, I feel like it is a program. It's programming.
Absolutely.
And I'm one of those people, like, I'm always bored in school. Like, why am I learning about this? I'm not interested in this. Well, and I'm not saying stop going to school, guys, but I think there's a lot more opportunities out there. And I'm one of those people, I don't want to waste my time. Like, why am I doing this?
Yes.
When it doesn't, I'm not interested. I think it's just simple as that too. If you're not interested, if you're not happy, ask yourself and go seek. There's a lot of resources out there. Yeah. Seek it out.
Yes. I need to touch on that one. That is huge. The youth need to understand that everything that you need, if you want to be a doctor, all those books are at the library. All of them. Yeah. All of them. You can get it for free. You can get a college education for free. You got a library card, you're in. So why are you going to pay a college a ton of money to get a piece of paper that says you're in debt as soon as you walk into your profession? It's nutty.
You know how I want to study? I want to travel the world, meet different people, different cultures, food, nature. That's how I want to study.
Love it. Love it. Hands on. Yeah. I love it.
Yeah.
I love it. That's the only way.
They say experience is the best teacher.
Absolutely.
A couple things. Information. There's no excuse for I don't know anymore. Just like you said.
Thank you.
Not just library. Go to Google.
Absolutely.
Go to YouTube. How to this.
It's there.
Information is everywhere. Knowledge is not power. Knowledge intelligently applied with action is now power, right?
Well, the other thing I want to add was like Joe Dispenza, shout out to you. We're a big fan of yours. He was saying, there's so much information out there. There's no way you will not find it. It's basically, if you're not being resourceful, you're just being lazy. And, internet is out there. You can find information while sitting in the bed, sitting in the toilet.
That's right.
It doesn't matter any time of day. You could ask people, you could ask the internet. It's everywhere. So just do it. Just take action. Yeah. And
stop with the excuses.
Yeah.
Excuses only please those who make them.
It's actually a disease. Period.
It's Absolutely.
Called excuse-itis. It is.
Itis.
You got the itis, right? It weakens you.
Yes.
Because when you make an excuse, you give up your ability to solve it.
Thank you.
That's all it is to it. You say, I can't do this on my own, so I'm going to blame it on this. I'm going to blame it on, I don't have a degree. I don't know. I wasn't born into this family. I'm this. I'm too short. I'm too tall. Whatever.
I don't have the right shoes.
Yeah. And then there's somebody proving you wrong.
Daily.
I'm too short. Kevin Hart. Right?
Bugsy.
Yeah.
Bugsy Malone.
Exactly, right?
I can't slam dunk. The guy was like 4 foot nothing. He can slam dunk.
Yeah. Muggsy Bogues. Yeah. So there's no excuses. It's just people that take action, that seek out the resources. And it's crazy. If I was to start a podcast 20 years ago, you and I come from the same generation.
Right.
Let's say we try to start a podcast in the 90s. We'd have to know somebody at a radio station.
Yep.
We would have probably had to go to school for it. We'd have to kiss a lot of ass.
Pay a bunch of money.
Pay a bunch of money. And maybe they'd give us the opportunity.
Right.
Now, get a couple cameras, get some microphones.
On and cracking.
It's on.
Get a few friends.
Get a few friends. Get a YouTube channel for free.
Yes, sir.
It's done, right?
Yes, sir.
So, people out there, if you have a dream, if you want to do something, just go do it. Like, I love the Jim Carrey quote. It says, you can fail at what you hate, so why not try doing what you love?
Love it.
You know what I mean? Like, seriously,
shout out to Jim Carrey.
Yeah, Jim Carrey. My favorite actor from the 90s, right?
Absolutely.
Me too, my favorite comedian. The other thing I want to add to that is, like, I know that fear can be paralyzing, but it's not real.
Right.
Like we keep talking about taking action. I think if you're really afraid, you have to really dig deep in your heart, because when you're doing something that's aligned with you, you're not going to be afraid. So get rid of those layers, right? Heal whatever you need to heal. And then just, when you get there, and just take action. Yeah.
Yeah. Just know everybody's afraid.
And I think just to touch on a few things that we do unconsciously is our verbiage. We use try, maybe, I'll try, maybe, I might.
Yeah.
Those words did not exist in antiquity. In our people, way back, there is no maybe. There's yes and there's no.
Wow, that's powerful. I never heard that
Ooh.
before.
You
Think
will
about that.
or you won't. You do or you don't.
So there was no maybe, yes, no. It was
Nope.
just, yeah, it's true.
Yes.
People were
Correct.
people with their word. They did what they said they were
Yes.
going to do. Yeah.
Con palabra. You know what I
Wow.
mean? You're
What
about
does
your
that
word.
mean? Con palabra?
With your words.
Yeah.
You're about your
Person
words.
of my word. Yeah. That's powerful. Did you hear that, guys? Back in the day, there was no word for maybe or try or I think or maybe. It's like I do it or I don't.
Right. And those words carry intention of failure.
Right.
They carry failure with them.
Self-talk.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll
Self-talk.
try to do this. I'll try to make it. Possibly.
Yeah.
No. I'm going or I'm not.
Yeah. When Mike Tyson was on the podcast, shrooming his brains out, they said, how did you become the best boxer? And he said, I told myself every day, I'm the greatest boxer. I'm the baddest man that ever lived on this planet. And they kept asking him, no, did you train? He goes, no, I just kept telling myself, I'm the greatest. I'm the most feared man on this planet. And he didn't even realize he affirmed himself into the greatest, most feared boxer on the planet.
Yes.
There was people twice his size, probably stronger than him, but they were so afraid of him because he was a walking he was a walking
A manifestation.
Thank you, of his affirmations since he got that mentor, when he was young that taught him boxing. And,
Gus D'Amato.
yeah, Gus D'Amato, thank you, and channeled all that anger and all that stuff, and it was affirmations.
Yes.
He said it about 10 times, and they kept asking him, but was it this? Because they didn't understand affirmations. Right when he said that, I said, wow, Mike Tyson talked himself into being the most feared, baddest man
I love it.
on the planet.
I love it.
Because I'm sure there's other people that went through hell like he did growing up, but they weren't the baddest man on the planet.
Right.
Because they weren't telling themselves every day, I'm the world champion. I'm the baddest man on the planet. I'm the best boxer in the world. So, hey, there you go. Maybe that's a tip, right?
And to touch on that real quick, if anybody out there has heard of Dr. I think it's Matsumoto,
Okay.
that he did studies on ice crystals and water
Okay.
and the power of thought, written words, and spoken words on water. Him and a control group, they did these experiments with water. Then they froze the water, and they were able to see the physical manifestation of these words, thoughts, and written on paper that they put on these jars, how the crystalline forms of the water would react.
Wow.
So the words love, positivity, I love you, you're the best, these crystalline forms in the ice were magnificent. And they wrote on piece of paper, you're ugly, you're horrible, or they even thought in a circle around a bottle of water. They thought, you're ugly, you're this, you're that. And they froze it, and that water turned into blobs. It couldn't freeze correctly. It would just be like this globulous mass, and it's incredible. And they did the same thing with rice. So this goes to show us kind of we're made up of 75% water. So the things that we tell ourselves and the things that we say and the things that we accept and we write on pieces of paper, I'm not feeling good, or we send out something in Instagram.
message.
Yeah, a text message that's horrible about someone else. You're saying that about yourself.
Right.
So why would you ever do that? Why would you
Yeah.
ever accept that as part of your reality?
Yeah.
Don't do it. Live life for you.
Yeah.
Don't be afraid.
100%.
I saw a documentary called Water Has Memory.
Yes.
And I saw them doing an experiment with the rice. The other rice, if you say I love you to this one rice, it would grow beautifully, and the other one, if you say I love you're ugly, you're stupid, or whatever, it just
Turn black and moldy.
yeah. So water has a spirit, or is a
Yes.
spirit, or
All of the above.
Yeah, for sure.
Has is
Yeah.
yes.
Happened with plants too. Some students
Absolutely.
in a class, they put two
Yeah.
plants and they had to talk bad to one plant and talk good, and the one that they talked, it just wilted and died, and the other one was like flourishing.
It's incredible.
That's some deep stuff, right?
Real
there,
deep,
That's
real
crazy.
deep. But we all have to be cognizant that that we
Yeah.
do these things on a daily basis to
Yeah.
ourselves, based on what our families have told us, or things that we've watched on the internet about how we look, or how you did your makeup, or what kind of clothes you're wearing. Let all that shit go.
Yeah.
Let it go. Live life for you.
Yeah.
And social media makes it worse
Yes.
because it's everybody's highlight reel. So it's like you're not even seeing reality. Like,
No.
Like, I mean, we're all guilty of it, but it's like you see everybody's best pictures. I mean, because I'm like a low key photographer and I play around with apps and stuff. And like, I'll take a picture of somebody and then I'll just juice it up a little bit. And they'll be like, wow, that's awesome. You know what I mean? That's what you see on social media. You don't see when they wake up and they got eye boogers and their breast stinks and their hair's all messed
Hair all
up.
tore
They're
up.
not going to put that on Instagram, right? Anyways, whatever. But
So the point is, don't believe everything that you see on Instagram.
Yes.
Yeah,
It's just a portion of their lives.
believe in
Yeah.
yourself, love yourself, talk good to yourself.
Yes.
You
Be
know what I mean?
kind.
You know, I had a very successful mentor recently, and 38 years old, making $7 million a year.
Wow.
And could deal with almost anything and like nothing. It was almost like he was a robot. We were like, "Are you a human?" You know. And I asked him. I said, "How do you deal with everything? How do you make it through all this adversity?" He goes, That's what I tell myself." He was a master at positive self-talk.
Love it.
He's like, well,
Love it.
that'll make a great story one day. What doesn't kill you makes you stronger.
Yep.
Instead of like beating himself up for an hour like we all do, or a week or a day or 10 years, anytime something bad will happen, well, that'll make a great story someday. Well, everything
That'll
happens
be
for a
my
reason.
memoirs.
Yeah, everything happens for a reason. I'm the best, you know. So anyway, self-talk is powerful.
Yes,
right?
it is.
Right. So anything else you want to say about Shroomy Walkabouts real quick?
Just follow Shroomy Walkabouts on Instagram. We have walkabouts usually every other weekend.
Okay.
Because I gotta have family time.
And where are you located? Because this podcast is worldwide.
Yes, I'm located in the Bay Area, so South Bay Area, Los Gatos, San Jose area. But I do all over the Bay. I moved to the East Bay, Oakland area. We do walkabouts over there, North Bay. Just anywhere the hills are flourishing, that's where I'm at.
Okay, and we'll leave it all in the description below. So
Solid.
we finish up every podcast with some 6 powerful. Well, I don't want to say 6 because sometimes it's more. But
Sure.
Joe's gonna go
6.
deep. She's gonna ask you some
Let's
amazing
go.
questions, and
Let's go.
then we'll wrap it up.
Take a deep breath.
Yeah. All right. What's your number one wish for the world? Number one.
Self-love.
It's beautiful. Self-love. That's it. Okay. So any advice for anyone who wants to do ayahuasca but still afraid, basically?
I would say spend some time in nature. Spend some time on your own to assess what it is that you want from your life. And as that thing right behind you says, jump in. Jump in. If you feel called, go.
Okay, so you mentioned you work with the at-risk youth. Any advice you want to give them during these times?
Yes, because it is such a tumultuous time for people of color in general. I would say that most often than not, at-risk youth are children of color. So go out there and talk to people. Don't be afraid to reach out to elders to give you advice. Try to find mentors right now because the world is shifting very quickly. And if you don't find people that will help you find your purpose or help you find your voice, you will be left behind. So please do yourself a service and find a good mentor, even a couple. And it could be male or female. Don't be picky. You can learn from anybody.
Awesome. And I want to add to that. Take advice from people who have what you want.
Yes.
Because everybody else is just guessing.
That's a good point.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So make sure you find a mentor that's where you want to be.
That's right.
Another question I want to ask is how do you connect to source or any advice for anybody who wants to connect to source?
Don't separate yourself from source. And I mean that in the basest way imaginable. Do not think of yourself as separate from source. There is no God and us. We are the physical manifestation of God. There's no separation. So connect to source. Connect to yourself. Like the first question, what do I want for the world? self-love. If everybody loved themselves properly, we would not have the issues that we have today.
Yeah. Hurt people hurt people.
That's right. So connect to yourself, and that's finding source.
Yeah, it's funny you say that because when I was young, I always had the older mentors for some reason, just like you said, right?
Yeah, I did too.
Yeah, and I joined this MLM. It was funny. It's called Prepaid Legal. It's not Legal Shield now, right? But it actually was legit.
I did it too.
Yeah, it was legit. It's funny. We have so many similarities, right? So, anyways, this old guy was my mentor, right? He was like 80s or 60s, or maybe 60s. I was so young, I thought he was probably in the 80s, right? But he had a Native American wife. He was a white guy, right? And he's like, Isaac, we were talking about religion, and he's like, Isaac, do you know what I believe about God? And I was like, no. I was like, what? He's like, I believe God is love. He goes, I just recently lost my wife. He goes, just think about this. When you're actually hugging the person you love the most, let's say you're hugging your mom, your dad, your spouse, your children, are your eyes open or are they closed?
Wow.
Your eyes are closed. When you truly are hugging someone you absolutely love, your eyes are not open because it's not about the other person. You are allowing love to come out of you. So he said, God is love. That's why they say Jesus is in your heart, all this kind of stuff. When you understand that the purpose of God is to be like God, to be love, to show love, to allow love, then you truly understand the meaning of God.
Absolutely.
And I was like, whoa. I was 18 years old, right? I was like, wow.
That's good advice.
But I mean, whatever you believe, just think about that. When you hug the person you love the most, your eyes are not even open. Yeah. When you kiss the person you love the most, that's weird if you keep your eyes open, by the way. Your eyes are not even open. Right? Anyways, I digress, right? So love is you. It's within you. It's what God means. It's what it is, at least in my opinion, right?
Yes, sir.
And if you truly understand that, I think it will help you with everything that you're talking about.
Absolutely.
I felt so good just hearing that.
Absolutely.
It was
Hey,
love.
I forgot his name, but thank you, sir. That taught me when I was 18. I don't know if you're still alive or not, but I appreciate that, and I never forgot that.
Okay, so this is the question I ask every single one in this podcast.
Okay.
If you had 48 hours left to live, what is the first and the last thing you would do?
Wow.
Told you it was going to go deep.
First thing I would do, I would hug and kiss every person important to me. That's the first thing I would do. I wouldn't get into any of the logistics of why I was hugging and kissing them so lovingly and passionately. And the last thing I would do, I would sit on a cliff somewhere and stare at the ocean and watch the sun go down.
Wow.
And take in my last moments on this planet and take those memories with me to my next life.
That's awesome.
Beautiful.
Back to nature.
Telling you,
Back
brother.
to nature.
Yeah.
It's everything.
Wow.
It's
That's
everything.
awesome.
Whew, I gotta breathe for that answer. I'm thinking about my last question here. So, what's your purpose in life?
My purpose in life is to love. Is to just love.
Simple as that.
Love everything, everybody, every moment. Love every single moment. Love everything that happens to me. Or for me, I'm sorry. Because it doesn't happen to me, it happens for me.
100%. Yeah.
So just love.
Thank you.
Awesome. Well, any more questions?
No, that's it.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, man, thank you so much. Like, honestly, when I
Thank
first
you,
met
brother.
you, you're doing that because I could just feel the energy. I could feel the love. I could feel the vibe. I love meeting people that are living their purpose because they walk differently. They have a different energy.
Yes.
They say when a man, or just say when people find their purpose, they come alive.
Absolutely.
Right. And I look forward to going on a Shroomy Walkabout.
Solid.
We all are.
I look
Yes.
forward to all your businesses flourishing.
Thank you, brother.
And I look forward to you making an impact on the world and helping people because you're in your purpose. Like, honestly, very few are like that. So congratulations.
Thank you, brother. Thank you.
I can't wait to get to know you more as a friend, and
vice versa.
and to see you grow. Right.
Thank you.
Joe.
Yeah, I just want to say thank you for coming up to me and talking to me at the retreat that we went to.
Absolutely.
And it was definitely your energy. You're just loving, welcoming, and open. That really drawn a lot of people to you. And I'm really grateful that we're friends and you call me hermanita. You're my hermano.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So I'm excited to also build this growing friendship with you as well, and go to your Shroomy Walkabouts.
Yes.
For sure. All of us.
Or fungi frolics.
Yeah.
Yes, we can do that too. We can do it.
That's what I titled it on my post because I didn't want to steal your Shroomy Walkabout.
Fungi frolics. I saw that too. I was like, okay, I appreciate that.
Yeah, so I'll let you have that one.
Oh,
right?
also, like, to you guys, just connect with yourselves. And at the end of the day, your heart knows what you want to do with your life. And heal. Love and heal yourself. So, yeah.
Yes.
And then again, if you like this podcast, make sure you subscribe, make sure you hit that like button, and make sure you hit the notification bell because it lets you know when a new video comes out. And this is the kind of stuff that we're going to bring to you. We appreciate all you guys. This is going to be the #1 podcast in the world. Our goal is 250 million subscribers, #1 podcast in the world, and to make a huge impact on everybody's lives and to help people find their true purpose and follow their bliss. And as always, follow your bliss. Thank you guys so much for tuning into the podcast. We hope you enjoyed it. Our goal, as always, is to become the #1 podcast in the world. And make sure to subscribe if you haven't done so already. Make sure you share this with 3 of your friends. And if you like our song, our intro song, please check out my good friend Maroni Silva's band, A Dead Desire, on YouTube. That song is called The Mantra. Thanks again for tuning in, and we'll catch you guys on the next one. And as always, follow your bliss.